제니퍼, TY, 전태양, 바머, 최지성, 아르마니, 박진현, 디아, 백동준. 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 코드 S 쇼다운.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time to eliminate one of the 4 players from Group E. This is Armani versus Bomber. Bomber, if you followed the early few years of Starcraft 2, as the game was developing and the expansions were continuing to come out, Bomber was one of the most dominant players, particularly in global tournaments, marathon tournaments, which are held all over the world, Asia, Europe, North America. But he has been gone for some time now, fulfilling his military service, which is required of all young able-bodied men in South Korea. Armani is the rookie of GSL, and it's a little bit weird to say because he's been in 5 GSLs already, or I guess I should say 4 already. This is his 5th, but I really don't know where this goes or how this is going to look. I mean, Bomber has so much experience, but is really from a different era. Yeah, Armani looked good, but not clean enough, not strong enough, not reactive enough to take on Deer, but Bomber's a different opponent. I think this could go either way, but I'm banking on Bomber.
Oh, I'm taking Armani with this.
I'm going with the fan favorite here. I'm throwing him some red meat. I'm like, guys, remember when Bomber was so good?
Well, he can be good again, Tasteless. I believe.
Bomber!
I want it.
Sign my mouse pad.
전투 준비 완료.
It's like our production got invaded.
퍼포먼스로 앞서가다.
Nesty's face
LG
comes on
울트라
screen.
큐어
Oh my god.
넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가
Did you
이번
forget
전투를
about me,
지원한다.
Tastosis?
Never.
Nesty, your English is amazing now.
아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니.
Nesty does not speak English. He just speaks into your mind directly.
That's right.
So, of course, you understand. You hear it as English because you're simple.
That's right. It's like that movie Contact.
게임 GP.
That's old now.
최지성.
Or the aliens are her parents. They're like, we thought this would be the easiest way to talk to you. Remember that?
Oh, you're talking about the Jodie Foster movie?
Yeah. What did you think? Was there another Contact?
No, I was thinking of the more recent. I can't even remember what the name of it was. But yeah, they've got a nice record too. Oh God, what is the name of that?
This is a movie, or
a movie that came out more recently.
Arrival.
Arrival. That's it. Yeah. That's what I thought about. I'm like, what are you talking about? yeah. But they took the form of her parents to talk to her.
Arrival's great too.
That has one of the greatest quotes of all time, though, the Contact movie, where like the first one blows up, right? And they're like, "This is America. Why build one when you can build 2 for twice the price?" It's like, damn, that's sick. But that was an alright movie.
Contact was okay until they actually got to meet the aliens. Then I'm like, oh.
It was silly the way that, that's not
It was
what I
better
want.
when there was just like that beeping sound, like.
Yeah. I want this to be an elaborate like scheme that they eat her or something. You know.
I think it would have been better if at the end of Contact they discovered it was actually just a giant alien that had left its iPhone alarm on for eternity and it's just beeping like that. There's no major communication that's trying to be made. I'll have to go back and check that one out. That's it. Sometimes these things, you go back and watch them and they did not age very well.
Yeah. I feel like that one would be all right, though. It was kind of,
I've been going through the old Alien trilogy. Alien 1, I finished Alien 2. I'm on Alien 3 now. Alien 3 was actually better than I remembered it. Now that I'm older and watching it, I'm like, oh, this is a pretty cool...
I can't even remember what happened in it, to be honest. It's been so long.
Well, I remember as a kid, I think I was mostly focused on, like, is there enough action?
Yeah, number 1 is the only one that I really ever rewatch.
Yeah, well, that's the best one by far. That's by far the best one.
Yeah. Except for Prometheus.
That's by far the best one. The part where the
Alien 4 or whatever?
No, Alien Resurrection is actually the true canon. Remember when the
That's the one with the really
queen?
weird-looking alien, and then like has the robot suit, and they fight, and it gets sucked out through the window, right?
Yeah, through the back of its head. It's like the back of its head gets stuck in the hole, and it sucks out its insides. Like, blah, blah, blah. Its oatmeal brain gets pulled out through the back.
Now, to be fair,
Yeah.
Out of everything that happens in all the Alien movies, that moment is the thing that I think about the most.
Yeah.
Getting sucked out through the window, through the little hole.
Well, the funny thing is,
I still think about that regularly.
well, what's funny is that it shows that there's a better understanding of actual space, which is a problem in science fiction. If you look at the old Alien, they actually open up the alien, the spaceship door for a little bit. You know, they're kind of hanging on almost like it's the edge of an airplane, although that's not how it's supposed to work at all. It's a little bit distracting. They even did that in one of those Star Wars movies recently, where Princess Leia's like just in space.
Oh, the space switch?
Yeah, space
She
switch.
just flies suddenly because she has magic powers?
Yeah, and her
Yeah,
eyeballs don't explode because she's in outer space.
No, Disney's doing a great job with that.
Yeah, no,
series.
the Star Wars is definitely in good hands.
Yeah.
Do you realize how bad Star Wars is actually going to be as this continues to just be made by Disney?
That would be like...
People in 100 years from now are going to talk about how people once thought Star Wars was good and they're not going to understand where it all started.
Yeah. They're only going to find VHS copies of the original prequels with Jar Jar Binks. They're like,
That's
what?
right.
Like,
Yeah, they'll be like, well, wasn't the first one with Jar Jar? I'm like, no. They made the fourth one first. We're like, doesn't sound right to me.
All right, so we actually have a very cool build coming out of Bomber right here. He's getting quick concussive. He's got a landed Viking there as well as 2 Marauders. So this is going to help his Hellions to actually do a hell of a lot of damage because he can slow the Queens down.
Yeah, this is very cool. Pushing forward now. Looks like he's going to target this one Queen kind of in the middle. The Queen getting low. No transfuses available, so it does go down. Banelings are being made. There's 10. But actually, this is pretty far off.
Yeah, he is doing a great job
Although,
with this right now.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't attack into that. I guess he doesn't know where those Banes are at, but he could have actually forced a cancel on all of them.
I would have loved him. Yeah, look, he split 2 of them off, so that's brilliant.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, the attack move really not paying off right there.
Armani in hot water, but it looks like this attack might be fizzling out as Bomber backs off.
Yeah, he actually ended up losing that medevac. We didn't get to see it on screen, but JYP shows us there. That was cool, though. I like that. I like little teched out. It's like, this is almost a push that you know. Yeah, concussive shells and a landed Viking. Ha ha! I got you.
But this is what makes Bomber so good. I mean, he's really bringing his own style into it. Very cool.
I like it. All right, 1-1 on the way right now for Armani. Bomber as well. Pretty well lined up on those. Layer just now starting. And, yeah, I mean, I feel like this is going to just get into a macro game. It doesn't seem like anyone has potential to kill each other at all.
No, I think you're right about that. But again, one of the things I wanted to see is a couple games of Bomber in a macro game, pushing, moving around, because he was so strong in the early Starcraft days. Just really able to seize the game by the throat and tell it what's up. So strong with pushing and attacking and dropping. Now, Armani, on the other hand, so far today, he seemed like he has a lot of good ideas, but not great execution.
Yeah. Well, Armani just is like kind of a more modern player than Bomber, so I felt like he should do better. I've liked his progression over the last couple of years. Like, he has been getting better. It's been a little bit up and down,
But, you know,
also he lives with Special, and that makes me think like Special is. I mean, you have to call him like a top 6 Terran in the world, I would say.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that should help his ZBT, right? Like, that should help his understanding quite a bit.
Now, one thing I want to just clarify here, because I think we're talking about Bomber in a certain way. It's not like this guy was frozen and then we just thawed him out and brought him back, and he's in a different time period, and he's not like a caveman.
That's what it feels like, actually.
Yeah, but the truth is, he's probably talked to all the other pros. He's probably been totally updated on exactly what he needs to do to play. So, I think he still is going to have a more modernized approach. I mean, he's not like he hasn't been Han Solo'd in what was he? Carbonite? Yeah. He hasn't been carbonated.
No, he hasn't been carbonated.
Although I will tell you guys, I do secretly have a fantasy of just, someone I don't like just freezing them in carbonite, putting them on my wall. That would be pretty epic.
I have a fantasy of freezing my whole family in carbonite and then taking a long nap and then I'm freezing them. Yeah, that's my fantasy taste.
I can imagine that. Now,
I have a fantasy, actually, of putting you in carbonite for like 2 years and then bringing you out without telling you and having you cast a TDZ and making you do the Reaper part. And then you're just going to be like, yeah, no, everything's fine. I'm like, tasteless. You're 38.
Well, I'll tell you what, Artosis. Depending on how the game is patched, I will always, for all time, be able to do the Reaper part of the game against Zerg, where they run around and kill maybe one Ling.
Who killed a Ling?
Maru did. Whoa, that's why he's the best. Maru, kill the lane.
That's so sick. All right, clearing some creep right now.
Bomber could get surrounded here. He's definitely a position where Zerg can hit from a lot of angles. He's going to back off. Infestation pit over here. What's so funny?
Well, you said he could get surrounded here, and there's like Hellbats there, and so I was thinking that dumb quote, like you're not, I'm not trapped in here. You're trapped in
the
here.
Watchman quote.
Yeah, where it's like, you're not surrounding me, I'm surrounding you. But it's like, no.
It's like
he's
there's
surrounding you.
I'm like, this is not a matter of perspective. Like one is over the other.
Yeah.
I like that though. The push comes out now. This is not enough lings to do anything, I think, in substance. Oh, Bomber looking good so far in this push. He's on a lot of Zerg creep though, but it's a pretty narrow, not a huge valley, but a pretty narrow area for the Banelings to try to go through without eating so much splash. Oh my God, but with tanks on stage, splash is unavailable.
Yeah.
Maybe a questionable decision as far as multitasking goes here, and now Armani obliterates that army.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Oh no!
It gets worse.
Speed Banelings everywhere right now. So many workers go down as well.
I think we're kind of catching what you were pointing out earlier, Artosis, that as good as Bomber is, Armani is a more modern player. But hold on, the push comes further forward.
He doesn't have that many SCVs, but his army is looking pretty strong. He does have 2-2 upgrades, getting in range of this hatchery now. He is still on creep though. That is a big deal, especially for when these Banelings finish.
Oh my gosh, the hatchery is getting so low. I think Bomber might be able to take it again. Units parading through here, but at the last second, beautiful control. Banelings continuing to push this back.
Yeah, a lot of lings coming out right now. I think he is going to be able to push this back.
I swear
off
that
of
hatchery is
well.
at like 5% health or something.
It's probably pretty low.
It's so low. And now the push is all the way off the creep. You can see Bomber frantically trying to push forward. This may lead to an overextension though. Oh my gosh, Banelings finishing just in the nick of time. And now Medivacs have to pick up and boost away. And the push will be reset now back all the way onto the Terran side of the map. Again, 3 base and a becoming 5 base Zerg.
Dude, he's on 77 drones. And look at the creep spread. It's good enough that I feel like that was Bomber's really big chance.
Yeah.
Because we're on Hive Tech right now. Me and Armani. You and Bomber, what are you even doing? You making 1 siege shank at a time?
Me and
What's that
Bomber
gonna
are
do?
pushing on creep and picking up and running away, man.
You got 3 tanks or something? Yeah, look at that, 3 tanks. Cool, guys.
Oh, good pull away by Bomber. It looks like he might barely, okay, I was gonna say barely save those, but unfortunately 7 go down at the last second as Bomber is getting really pushed to the limit here as far as his multitasking can go.
He's setting up once again, trying to find a way in. But the amount of Ling Bane that's being created right now is truly enormous. I can't imagine him not breaking this. Like, he has to bring a group around from the other side. Well, maybe if he goes all in from one side of it, but oh my God, those blinding clouds really doing some work as well.
Yeah, there might just be too much. I think Bomber's splitting's good, but the macro, I'm actually surprised. I thought he was going to keep attacking there.
You know, I think if he had found a way to get a group around the other side of that, he could have cleared this entire Terran army. Oh God, those Baneling connections.
This is one of the first times. One of the first times where the screen can almost not quite zoom out enough to catch everything.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And yeah, we missed a big attack over there with the Banelings detonating. Looks like 15 SCVs. I mean, I think the counterattack here will force, yeah, that's it. I was gonna say the counterattack here will force the 3rd CC to lift off, and then Bomber will be out of gas. Metaphorically, he'll just be out of juice that game. There's nothing else he could do.
Yeah, Terrans generally don't run out of gas, so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. You don't have Archons, they don't have Infestors. But yeah, I mean, Bomber had like a cool opener. It was kind of creative and neat. We've seen things somewhat similar to that before, but I thought he executed it pretty well overall, got a bit of damage done. But as the game progressed, Armani just kind of showing the way that you can play this matchup where you're just making so many Lings and Banes that, you know, you can just kill army after army.
So now we go into game 2 on Nightshade. Armani showing that his strength only grows as the timer goes on. Bomber looking the strongest in the early game. But when it comes to late game TVZ, it's like he just doesn't quite have it. His splitting's good, his pushing's good, but you can see it seems like Bomber's stats are higher in every category, so to speak. But, you know, Bomber doesn't have to play a standard game. He's free to do whatever he thinks will win. Maybe we'll have some kind of crazy cheese. I don't know.
You know what? Why not mix in a double proxy racks? Like,
Yeah.
go for the win.
Well, that's what all the Terrans that win do anyways, at least in one of the games. So
Just
it's
be like them.
Yeah.
Just play like
Just play like TY.
Yeah.
Our countdown has now started up. Again, the loser of this series is out of the GSL code as the winner goes on to fight against Deer, who is waiting to play in the 5th best of 3, the final match, to decide who will then move on into the round of 16. Armani and Bomber, both the low-tier players, at least this season. One's going to move on. Let's see who gets closer to that or actually does it.
전투 준비 완료. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박진혁. 팀 GP, 바머, 최지성.
Drone. Drone
Yeah.
peeking out. He actually thinks that Bomber's going to do what we suggested, so he agrees
That's right.
that this is what Bomber
He's
should
a
be
fan
doing.
of our casting, that's all we can say.
No wonder he's losing.
Now, where would Taste Osters hide their barracks if they were Bomber? Bomber's staying at home, though.
Well, lucky for him, he chose not to proxy some barracks, because this definitely would have been scouted. The fact that Armani is drone scouted for them, I really like that. I think that's a smart move
I think it's generally speaking a good read on what a best of 3 would look like.
Yeah, and maybe
just preempting it.
This would be what he would be scared of, right? This is probably the one thing that really could kill him.
Well, I don't think Armani is afraid of Bomber in a long game.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think that at this point in time, especially just the feel of that last game, I think whenever you have games like that, you go, oh, okay, yeah, I actually am better. I just need to make sure I don't cross my T's and dot my I's.
Kind of funny when you think about what Bomber was known for. He was like the best parade pusher in the whole world.
Parade?
Parade, but like fancy.
I know. But French.
Yeah, that's the French word for parade. Parade.
You know, it is kind of crazy how much players improve over eras. You know, we've had players...
But wait a second, the players back then were better.
I am a guy who posts on forums. Do you see what I see? Yeah, I know. There's always people that like talking about RTS games more than understanding them who will say that actually... Oh, my God.
That was a good block.
That was a good...
See,
good
he is
block.
better.
He is. There he is. Bomber, just keep... If I cheer for you hard enough, you'll win. No, but, like, it's insane how, like, someone who was dominant, let's say, like, 3 or 4 years ago, comes up again.
It's
and they have
so
to,
hard
it's
to
like,
come back.
wow, you are not up to par.
Yeah.
This game moves on and continues to, people advance at it and understand it better with or without you.
Yeah. It seems like those old pros, they come back and they get to a certain level that's really impressive, like they're really good, but that extra oomph to get over the hump is so difficult.
Can I point out something as well I find funny about this? Since we're talking about one of these weird things that does happen in the Starcraft scene where, and again, it's always people on forums, faceless people on forums that say that the games were better at this time and now people are not as good.
Yeah.
You know who's never said that? The former pro gamers of the time that are being stated as better.
That's true.
Literally never.
Literally never.
There's never, ever a player who's like really good 6 years ago who's saying, oh yeah, no, we were better back then. They're literally, because they know, because when they get online and play, they get smashed.
Yeah. And it's
Yet-
not just because they're out of practice.
Yes.
Everyone just gets so much better. Anyone who plays
This
knows
is happening on Team Liquid and StarCraft 1. It's happened like 5 separate times, and they are like, dude, the games
Remember that
are better
article a
than-
few years ago on StarCraft 2? It's like the players are just worse now.
They're just worse now.
Oh, really?
I'm like, really? Guy who just, yeah.
Is that right?
Is there a single pro gamer you can ask that will agree with that from now or then?
Yeah. Anytime.
Any time period? Like,
Yeah. It's pretty wild. But you see that, and you know, as far as players that have come back from the military, right?
Sure.
We talked about this in Dream's group. Dream is basically the best anyone's gotten after the military so far. Harding had a pretty long break and has come back, even though it wasn't military service. But you see him kind of reaching similar levels. He's not quite to where he used to be because he was the best in the world at one point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's not there, but like he's actually competitive with everyone, which is like, wow, we finally have someone able to do this.
Well, this took a while. You know, we have it with Starcraft 1 as well, where, you know, some players still haven't done their military service. Others are just now finishing it up. But you see them coming back. And, yeah, it's hard, man. I mean, after you did your 2 years of military service, you know, to come back and try to be able to compete, it's hard, but it's not like taking a certain period of time off means you can never be as good as you were before. That literally just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Unless it's something that is so physical that, like, yeah, sure, I guess, you know, a 50-year-old NFL player with the knees and the damage to the body, yeah, you can't just come back.
Yeah.
As long as your wrists and hands are going to be okay, you can play as fast, and it's not like intellectually you become more deficient.
Well, even with that, as understanding in everything grows, we're seeing older and older athletes do better a lot of the time as well. Like, look at Roger Federer, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be turning 40. He's still the best in the world.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
Maybe he's not ranked #1 right at this exact second, but he's still winning majors. It's like, this is crazy. It's, you know, once upon a time, it was like you hit 30 and that was the wall.
Yeah,
and,
no kidding.
Yeah, but it's exciting to see that happen within StarCraft as well. I was always wondering if this would ever occur, but...
Well, if you remember, there was a whole period of time where older players are making this bizarre excuse. This was unique to Korea, but people just ate it up at the time. It was like, yeah, when you get older, they would say your hands don't move as fast, which is like, literally, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
It's not like an 18-year-old has faster hands than a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, but people would say this, that you'd see it parroted on forums.
Someone's going to tweet at you this one study that was posted on ESPN about like reaction speeds or something that was just... What actually happens is people get older and change their values.
Yeah, and they stop practicing as much in some cases.
Yeah.
But this is also, you know, just the subject itself is also an interesting talk. Is he going to lose that?
No.
No. Tomato Banshee and Pumpkin Banshee. No, but this is an interesting thing, and this is actually a problem with the internet now, especially with Reddit in general, but just people say, one person says something that's not true or not accurate or not really sensible, and it just gets parroted for eternity.
That's true.
And people just keep repeating it, and I see this, I've seen this throughout my just career, and even before I was commenting as a player, as, you know, someone who was passionate about the game. Good save by Bomber.
You know, this is just one right.
You just see people just kind of just say stuff over and over and over again, and there's no evidence for it, or there's no, you know, and then that just becomes the norm. And then eventually I meet a major tournament organizer or a person at Blizzard who's then repeated that, and I'm like, all right, well, here we go. The disease has finally reached its final form, and everybody's just saying it to each other, and nobody's thinking critically about it, and then, you know, yeah.
It's good to think more critically, but the thing is, this is a message of hope that Tasis is saying.
Yes.
Where someone like Bomber, actually, he could get back to his old self, where he's one of the best 3-4 Terrans in the world. That could occur if he wants to put in the time, if he wants to put in the effort, you know?
Yeah, there's no reason he can't. There's not. He's too old. No recovery, and there's no need to have this type of pessimism to begin with.
There's a certain freedom you can play with where there's not as clearly necessary a time you have to stop. You know, it's kind of neat like that. But there's also pressures. You got to make money and stuff. You're getting older.
Yeah.
So
it's hard. It's harder to.
It's
be
just
a pro
like, how
when you're
bad
older.
do you want it? Like,
where are your priorities? Now, in this
so
game,
we're almost maxed out. You want to talk about the game?
Yeah. You know, let's talk about the game at least for a little bit before we go back on this. But
like, oh, the Reaper didn't kill anything, I bet.
Well, at this point in time, Armani's got a really good amount of creep spread. There's actually literally no easy area to push for Terran. But we're still getting to the point in time, to be honest, where we need to see how does Bomber actually push. And I think that's going to be now with this next wave of bringing to the tank coming in here.
Now, 2 is pretty much lined up, by the way, which is a very important thing to look at here.
Now, this is a jungle of creep he's going to have to push through.
He's doing a pretty good job. He has his tanks on the high ground, so it's going to be hard to really lock down kills.
You want to basically... This is so good, by the way, that he remade this over here, because this does absolutely nothing. Now, again, you want to have just enough Marines in the front that you can kill off creep timbers at a pretty fast pace, but enough that if you can pull away and you won't be losing too much if you get caught. Now here comes the counterattack here. I'm sorry, I should say surround, not counterattack.
Oh my god, that is a lot of Banelings. The targeting, maybe not quite there. The Banelings well through a lot.
You know, he gets all the tanks.
Yeah.
There's one more tank in this game. I don't see where it is right now. I'm sure it's inbound to meet with this push, but with not enough tanks and already plenty of Banelings to hold and 12 more on the way, I don't think that Bomber can just push through. But let's see how the Banelings connect, because if they're all shot down and don't connect with their target, then the whole game gets turned on its head. Here we go. Another attack comes through here.
Yeah, maybe that tank going up a little bit too far forward. The Ling Bane just rolling through absolutely everything. More Marines up on the high ground here, stimming and running away. Armani chooses to turn around.
Well, he's going to go back and remake some more Banes, but I think it's getting more and more desperate here on the Terran side of things.
But
even though, well, look, there's a lot that Terran has to keep pushing with, but Zerg's getting 5 bases up, and I don't see this creep being pushed away, and I see no opportunity for Terran to get a real foothold with the tank number being knocked down so low.
Yeah, he doesn't have many tanks, that is for sure, but he's hitting this kind of parade push that he was really known for back in the day, right? So 13 Marines at a time walking down. He's microing his heart out right now. It's just, is his control going to be good enough? Can he whittle this down over time?
Well, this tank is actually not covered whatsoever. It could still do a decent amount of tank shots over here, but yeah, every time the tank's picked off, the Zerg is allowed to retreat, rinse and repeat with more Banelings.
The one thing I'm noticing from Bomber that really is separating him from some of the top tier Terrans, his tanks are not targeting Banes that well. A lot of these things, I'm seeing the tank just target whatever it wants. So it's turrets swiveling around, it's hitting Zerglings and things. You really do need to target Banelings with it. It's very, very important to try to knock those numbers down.
I want to see how well Bomber can keep control of this top base, because one thing about Armani that's becoming more and more clear in this series is that he likes to pocket Banes on the edges of bases. Even if you know he's going to do it, he's still going to set up for that. TVZ, more so than I think any of the other matchups, from the Zerg side, is you can abuse the fact that Terran might have their screen in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Banelings are the key unit for defeating infantry and killing workers. So if you just, while the push is happening, have them ready, so you have your Banes ready to hit those SCVs, the odds of them being able to cover everything in a fraction of a few seconds.
Okay, that is a lot of Ling Bane. Going right up underneath the Liberators, on top of the siege tanks as well. Bomber microing back, actually holds on for now.
Yeah, the upgrades for Terran looking pretty good. A little link counterattack comes in here, though. Now, this might be the opportunity for Bomber to push in. Is there actually enough here? He's splitting really well. He got rid of all the Banes. No real connections made. Liberator zone set up here.
He's using a lot of SCVs at his 4th base, but it's his 4th. It doesn't matter as much if he can continue to push in here. But another reinforcement of Ling Bane starting to roll through. Once again, that siege tank not sieged at all.
Okay, the push comes through again here, and now this hatchery, he's trying to keep this alive. The game will still go on even if Zerg loses this, but I'm worried that Zerg is trying so hard to defend everything that there will not be anything left to prevent Terran from pushing.
Well, right now he's getting in there deep, but let's not forget he's on creep, so these flanks can come very, very quickly as well. Armani's still technically alive, not mining from that base anymore.
That hatchery has not been picked off. I'm worried that our Bomber is going to push in so deep here without actually taking anything with him. He's not killed the hatchery. He's getting further and further. He can kill these drones, but I mean, as you were saying, Artos, I mean, surrounds come very quickly here. But, maybe he just has enough, and kind of an insane push by Bomber. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. That's the Bomber we know and love. He's back.
Very nicely played there. The parade push working out for him. I do feel like I can see a difference as far as the actual battle micro compared to an Innovation or a Maru.
Oh yeah,
especially. But yeah, I mean that was good. I like it. Bomber's showing a lot of strength in that game.
He looked very good, but I think if Armani had been a little bit more patient, maybe sacked the 4th. There was a period where he was actually just rallying everything in there, and I think had he regrouped.
Yeah, he did need a regroup.
Bomber was pushing so hard he never even killed the fort. He actually pushed past it. He actually, it seemed, especially for the way that map's set up, he wanted to be in the middle of all the rally points.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw.
A player that's not good at completely resetting, and that could be hard in StarCraft too, to reset the rally point for everything in a push like that.
Yeah.
Suddenly everything is running through the Terran army, you're just gunning it down, and you snowball it. Eternal Empire here for game number 3. Only one will move on. Armani versus Bomber. The final game starts now.
전투 준비 완료. 아프리카 프릭스, 아르마니, 박진혁. 팀 GP, 바머, 최지성.
And now what do you do? I love this. Drone Scout again from Armani. He's not very interested in getting proxied.
Well, I think he thinks that if he just sees a proxy, he automatically wins, but he knows, okay, if I just get surprised by this, I'm going to be robbed.
Yeah, if you don't scout the proxy while it's still making, you're at a disadvantage. Like you're very likely to lose the game.
The problem is that it's hard to find the proxy.
With an overlord on one side and the drone on the other, that's like, it really downs a percentage of places.
That's what I was going to say. Is it's still easier for Zerg because you can comb one corner and then check around. I mean, they could always put it further back, but then it's doesn't have as much efficacy when the rush actually starts. But I mean, the idea is there, and I think Armani's already telling Bomber and the rest of us where he sees himself as far as strengths and weaknesses, and says, look, if I can just play the game I want to play, I will beat Bomber.
Well,
and by the way, this might allow Armani to warm up really well against Deer, assuming Armani wins. Because I think part of it, even though Armani's been in a couple GSLs, compared to what Deer's done and a lot of these other guys, they're so comfortable. This is just another day in the office for them.
Yeah,
and so perhaps being more warmed up. I've heard this from some pros too, that after a couple games, it takes hours for us to get through a group.
Yeah.
After a while, your body can only stay anxious for so long. You can only be extremely stressed out for so much time, And I think part of this is just, okay, you lose in the first round. Okay, fine, but that's why we give you the opportunity to redeem yourself. Here Armani is. He's playing very well. It seems to me like he might win this, but we'll see. But if he does, he'll be definitely warmed up, and definitely he'll have his head in the right spot to maybe play a closer game against Deer.
Yeah. I think that's pretty good assessment, and I do feel like he has potential to upset Deer. Definitely favor Deer there, but
yeah,
it could occur. All right, pretty standard looking opening, but based on where the SCV is hidden up at 12 o'clock, I feel like he's going to proxy a starport.
Seems like it. Oh, hold on.
Oh, no, I guess he's just waiting for a...
He's going to give him this mineral.
Scout.
He's taunting him.
Sees the third base.
It's actually a little pylon he has carrying around.
The
SCV with the mineral in his hand. It's a pylon.
Is it a pylon-shaped mineral?
Look.
Yeah, it is.
It's for his Protoss action figures. Please, I never got to play with my toys.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Now, a scout in here. This is definitely important that he saw that third CC. Now you just know what kind of game you're up for.
Yes.
And I think Armani's already shown he's pretty comfortable just reacting. I think, as an example, I think the most comfortable game a Zerg can play is one where they just scout what you're doing, they just see what you've got, and they go, okay. They see it early enough. I mean, that's really all that Zerg can ask for, right?
Sure.
Do I see what you're doing? All right. Do I know how to play against that? Okay.
I
know that's a little bit true for all races, but I think especially for Zerg.
He saw the third command, right?
Yeah. In the main. Yeah.
Okay. He only started his carapace here. He got 2 Evos, though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he has 2 Evos at his natural. There it is, the +1 melee.
Okay.
Because I was going to say, when I see only Carapace starting and 2 Queens, what that looks like to me is he's preparing for a 2-1-1. You know? Like that. But instead, of course, you want those two Evos against the 3 command center play. And it looks like on Bomber's side that he's setting up for a very similar type of game, like a parade push specifically. He's gotten 3 barracks relatively quickly here with his 3rd command, slowing down on the medevacs. So less harassment-based, more power-based from him.
So this map, I would say even more so than our other maps, is one where you can end up with a very long TVZ here.
Oh, yeah.
Some of our longest games out of all the matchups are actually TVZs on this map, at least for the season thus far.
This map gives long games, I feel like, in most matchups.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of long epic ones here.
Well, I think it allows for players to expand in a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And you can also continue to expand away from each other. And then you do end up with these fun games where it's a fight over the top left and the bottom right.
Yeah, we've definitely seen, especially TVZs, like you said, of that. Well, Baneling's speed on the way immediately. I think this is exactly correct from Armani. And he's actually going into Aspire. Something, my gut tells me that like Hydra would be good against this because it's a parade push. You just kind of fight power with power, but it looks like he's going to do kind of the other way around, like harass a little bit, then go back and kill reinforcements, that type of thing with the mutas. Which, yeah, I mean, it seems like a fine idea as well. As long as he keeps his creep spread out, I think that'll be good against what Bomber's doing. Or what Bomber's very likely to do, I would say.
I got to hand it to Bomber. I was pretty impressed with that push in the last game.
Yeah, he did it well.
I actually, to be honest, I didn't think it was going to work when he pushed past
Yeah.
the 4th, because sometimes, and this has happened to anybody who's like gotten ahead of themselves on a push where you're like, no, just go for the kill.
Yeah.
Go for it. And it's like, dude, take the win.
Yeah.
You know, take the win and go back. But he did it. And I think Armani also is in disbelief that push would continue as far as it did. So the drops come in here. Bomber, with great reactions, does pick up and back off.
Muta's on the way right now. So Armani going to be hoping to catch some of these medevacs. Oh, with that turret in the mineral line. All right.
Old turret in the mineral line.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, it's good against mutas, isn't it? Look at this ugly wall.
Lowering the property value of the Terran base.
Especially when Banelings roll in and kill 4 depots at once.
You're like, oh, but the feng shui of the base was good.
It's got like a big purple X where the Banelings should hit to kill maximum
It's got a
depots.
runway with lights going down for the Banelings to come in there and kill
Basically
the workers.
does.
Yeah.
All right, here come
Okay.
the mutas. Let's see.
Yeah, now, again, it's a lot of this is going to come down to how much damage the mutas can do, but with no defense over here, I mean, this is at least a great start. Now, I imagine the mutas will then go just towards the main. Like, the map sort of lends it for the mutas to then go to that location. There was a turret, which Artosis was pointing out at the 3rd, but this is a lot of damage. Now, I thought you'd have more than 5 kills by now, but...
Well, still, you know, lost mining time mixed in here as well.
Sure.
The Marines are stimming around and chasing mutas instead of doing anything
Whoa.
else. Looks like he killed a big group of units with his Ling Bane during all this. There's that ugly wall.
Yeah, only to become uglier.
7 more mutas on the way. He is getting that +1 attack as well. 2-2 going to be finishing up. Both sides finishing that up.
Let's see how this push goes. Terran lost a lot of SCVs, but this army was already made beforehand. Zerg's going to rely on counterattacking here on the Fugly Wall. And he just gets in.
Ooh, that's a lot of Lings. Oh no, Bomber turns around with everything.
Oh my god. And this is a counterattack where he's going to be hitting so many locations. He can actually get these Lings all the way into the main, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, this is brutal. This is really unfortunate for Bomber.
Now this could be, I'm not saying the game's going to end now, but this is, if it does end, we can always go back to this moment.
Yeah.
And say that's where Armani won it.
Well, especially when Bomber turns around his whole attack. If you are across the map and your opponent counters you and you turn around, that is never a good situation, ever, 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 ever. It's like wrong. You know, like you made so many mistakes already, and now you're making another one because all of his units are basically over at you.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and see these units. Do those really help against that? Not as, like, you know, you almost have to get counter damage done, in my opinion.
Push continues on. And, I mean, if this doesn't work for Bomber, I don't know if anything is.
Well, all he has to do is make a million banelings because
Yeah.
it's 80+ drones to 20 seaplanes.
Okay, the tank's getting completely annihilated here.
Yeah, there's so many banelings. There's so many mutas here.
GG. Armani takes it, and Bomber is the first player eliminated in Group E.
Showed some good games, though. Definitely like Game 2 against Armani. Very strong. Yeah, I mean, I hope that Bomber continues to practice really hard. I really want some of these older guys to come back to make it, you know?
As an older guy, I want that too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm rooting for the older
You
guys.
know, Bomber didn't quite make it. Dream didn't quite make
But
it.
I think this is just a start here for Bomber.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Definitely still potential for him. It's going to take a lot of hard work and who knows how long.
We have lots of time. That's the nice thing about StarCraft.
Yeah, yeah.
We get to be an old esport and stay an old esport. We don't have, like, you know, the 3 months when our game is important before the next game comes out. So many more seasons to come. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, the final best of 3 in Group E of the GSL Code S.